we're both colleagues in the same company. And Mr. Dominguez recently graduated from civil engineering at FI University, and he's worked at the current firm he's working with for a year and a half. Mr. Dominguez is also a proficient scuba diver. He loves scuba diving. As a matter of fact, he's a great rescue diver, and I'm sure one of his speeches will talk about his many adventures in scuba diving. He also loves camping, hiking, and the reason he joined Toastmasters is because he believes communication is the key in becoming a successful leader in personal and in professional life. Will you please give Mr. Raul Dominguez a round, warm.
Good morning, ladies and gents, and distinguished guests. My name is Raul Dominguez, and it will be my pleasure to do my icebreaker speech today. And the name of the speech is Who is Raul Dominguez? And I'd like to cover that in 3 main points: where I come from, how that shaped me, and where I'm going. Now, Raul Dominguez, it's more than just my name, it's also my father's name. My father's a hardworking man. At the age of 14, he dropped out of school to help provide for his mother and his younger brother. My mother, on the other hand, she actually finished school. But her story was slightly different. She never met her father, and she hardly ever saw her mother. She was the oldest of 5, and she grew up raising her younger sisters. So those are hardships that my family went through. And after they got married, 2 years after I was born, they knew that they didn't want me to go through similar hardships. And they knew that they didn't want me to grow up in a communist country. So my father took that step, and he actually got away. He left the country, came here, started saving money to bring us over. And it was a very bold step and very challenging for one to leave everything that they know, go into something completely unknown. And I'm proud of my family to this day. How we got into this country, that's a whole different story. That's for another day. We flew to Belize. We crossed every border from Belize to Mexico, and to like Texas. Ridiculous. I'll save that speech for a different day. But nevertheless, I'm really proud of them. And I believe that shaped me to the man I am today, because it has given me a finer appreciation of a lot of the smaller things in life that a lot of people overlook. And at a very young age, somebody very wise told me, when you're confused, when you don't understand something, or when you're just questioning, step back and observe. You learn more from observing than from talking. So I've done that from a very young age, and I've seen things that I don't want to become. And I've seen average people go nowhere in life. And I knew that I had to do something different about that. So from a very young age, before I even spoke English, I knew that I needed to do something with my life. And I knew that I would do something hard and something difficult. And I didn't care how hard it was, because my father didn't care how hard it was to bring me into this country. He still did it. So that brings me to who I am and what I studied. Growing up here, I didn't have cable, because even though we came into this country, we were still struggling to survive. That allowed me, or that actually helped me out, because it took me away from Disney Channel and other wasteful cartoons, and I was forced to watch PBS. Magic School Bus, Bill Nye Science Guy, outdoors stuff, and I really, sparked this fascination in science and math. So in high school, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I wasn't sure which type. My father's been in construction for over 20 years, and I knew I wanted to make him proud. That's why when I got into FIU, I decided to do civil engineering. And I feel like the journey that I've taken, if I was to step back and write something about it, I know people would read it. That's another thing that I've always thought of. if you live your life, try to make it a life that at the end, somebody would want to read your life, would read a book about your life. So I always try doing things that were challenging. Nothing in life worth doing is easy. In high school, I joined the wrestling team, my junior year of high school. I was never really too much into sports, but I knew that there was something meaningful about a one-on-one combat sport, aside from other ball games, which I truly respect. But it was wrestling that shaped me from a boy to a man. It was when I left the immaturities and I became mature. Stopped hanging around with people who were just about playing games to more people who were goal-oriented. And throughout my first year of wrestling, I had, throughout all of wrestling, I had an amazing coach. And one of his great skills was spending, after 3 hours, 4 hours of intense practice, he would sit us down and we would calm down and he would give us a 30, 40-minute speech. 30, 40 minutes every day of motivation. So I know the power of speaking, and that's part of the reason that I'm here today. The first year of wrestling, he told me to quit the team every day for a year. He said I was useless and I was wasting his time. 75 people tried out for the team. Only 3 or 4 stayed the whole year round, and I was one of them. And although I wasn't very good at the beginning, I ended up being one of the best wrestlers in the state of Florida. And I truly appreciate his motivation. Turns out that when people tell me I can't do something, I get furious and I have to prove them wrong. So I guess I live my life constantly trying to improve and be better, just to know that I can get farther than what people expect me to. And these ambitions and these struggles and hardships have taken me this far, but I feel like I have much farther to go. And that's a story of who I am. Thank you very much.